There are stories in this world that do not need dramatic embellishment, because their truth alone is powerful enough to leave a lasting mark on the human heart. They are quiet stories, often unseen, often unheard, yet they carry a weight that lingers long after they are told. These are the stories of small, fragile lives. Lives that cannot speak, cannot ask for help in words, yet somehow still manage to reach us in ways language never could. If you pay attention, you will notice them everywhere. At the edge of a crowded street, beneath a parked bus, beside an overflowing trash bin, or hidden within a patch of overgrown grass, there are always eyes watching. Not with anger, not with resentment, but with something far more heartbreaking: hope. A quiet, trembling hope that someone, anyone, might stop, look closer, and truly see them. Not as a nuisance. Not as something to ignore. But as a life. Some of these animals have spent years confined in spaces too small for them to move, chained to a corner of existence where time feels endless and mercy never comes. There are dogs who have never known what it feels like to be full, who eat only when someone remembers they exist. There are cats abandoned before they even opened their eyes, left to face a world they do not understand, their tiny bodies shaking against the cold, their cries swallowed by the noise of life moving on around them. Others carry wounds that go beyond what we can see. Injuries from accidents, scars from cruelty, illnesses left untreated for far too long. Some drag themselves across the ground because their legs no longer work. Some lie still, too weak to move, waiting in silence, not necessarily for rescue, but simply for the pain to stop. And yet, despite everything, they hold on. They hold on in ways that are almost impossible to comprehend. With bodies that are failing, with strength that has nearly run out, they still fight. Not because they understand hope the way humans do, but because something deep within them refuses to let go. Perhaps it is instinct. Or perhaps it is something more. In a world that can often feel indifferent, even cruel, there are still people who choose not to look away. They are not extraordinary in the way the world usually defines greatness. They are not wealthy, not powerful, not equipped with endless resources or influence. They are simply people who cannot ignore suffering when it stands right in front of them. People who, when faced with a choice between walking past and stopping, choose to stop. Sometimes, it begins with something small. A piece of food left on the ground. A bowl of water placed quietly beside a trembling body. A worn-out blanket brought from home to shield against the cold. These gestures may seem insignificant to an outside observer, but for the one receiving them, they are everything. They are the difference between despair and survival. There are countless moments like these, moments where a single decision changes the direction of a life. A man on his way home notices a dog limping along the road. He hesitates, just for a second, before turning back. A woman hears faint cries coming from a drain and chooses to investigate instead of dismissing the sound. A child refuses to leave a frightened kitten behind, holding onto it with a determination that adults sometimes forget. These are not grand, heroic acts. They are quiet acts of compassion. And yet, they carry the power to rewrite destinies. Because when someone chooses to care, something extraordinary begins to happen. Animals who once flinched at every movement slowly begin to trust again. A dog that once hid in fear learns to approach with cautious curiosity. A cat that once refused to eat begins, little by little, to regain strength. Healing is never instant. It is slow, fragile, and uncertain. There are setbacks, moments of doubt, nights filled with worry. There are times when it feels like nothing is changing, like all the effort might not be enough. But then, there is a moment. A small, almost unnoticeable moment, where something shifts. A tail that moves for the first time. Eyes that no longer look empty, but alive. A body that once lay still, now attempting to stand. And in that moment, everything becomes worth it. Because that moment is proof. Proof that life, no matter how broken it may seem, can still find a way forward. Yet not every story reaches that point. There are times when help arrives too late. When injuries are too severe, when illness has gone too far, when the body simply cannot recover. These are the moments that weigh the heaviest, the ones that leave behind a silence that is difficult to fill. In those moments, there is no miracle to celebrate. Only presence. Only the quiet act of staying beside a life as it fades, ensuring that it does not leave this world alone. Ensuring that, even in its final moments, it is seen, it is cared for, it is loved. And perhaps, in a way, that matters just as much. Because compassion is not measured solely by success. It is measured by the willingness to try, by the refusal to abandon, by the choice to care even when the outcome is uncertain. There is a saying that animals cannot speak, but they remember. And it is true. They remember kindness in ways that are pure and unwavering. A dog that has been saved will look at you as if you were its entire world. A cat that has been cared for will follow you with a quiet loyalty that asks for nothing in return. Their gratitude is not expressed in words, but in presence, in the way they stay close, in the way they trust, in the way they simply exist beside you without fear. It is a kind of connection that does not require explanation. A kind of bond that reminds us of something we often forget. That love, in its simplest form, does not need complexity. It only needs sincerity. And yet, for every story of rescue, there are countless others still unfolding. Lives still waiting. Eyes still searching. Not every animal will find someone to stop. Not every cry will be heard. The world is vast, and suffering does not pause. But neither does compassion. As long as there are people willing to notice, willing to care, willing to act, there will always be hope. It may not be enough to save everyone. It may not reach every corner where it is needed. But it matters. Every single time, it matters. Because for the one life that is saved, the world is changed completely. Imagine, for a moment, what it feels like to be that animal. To live in constant uncertainty, never knowing where the next meal will come from, never knowing if the next human you encounter will bring kindness or harm. To endure hunger, pain, loneliness, and still continue forward, step by step, day after day. And then, suddenly, something changes. A hand reaches out not to hurt, but to help. A voice speaks not with anger, but with gentleness. A presence remains not for a moment, but for as long as it takes. In that instant, everything shifts. Fear begins to loosen its grip. Trust, fragile and hesitant, begins to take root. And for the first time in a long time, the world feels different, safer, warmer, possible. It is easy, in the rush of daily life, to overlook these moments. To assume that someone else will step in, that someone else will care. But the truth is, sometimes there is no one else. Sometimes, the person who makes the difference is simply the one who chose not to walk away. And perhaps that is the most powerful truth of all. Not that we can save every life, but that we can choose, at any given moment, to save one. So one day, when you are walking down a familiar road, lost in your own thoughts, moving toward whatever destination lies ahead, you might notice something. A small figure by the roadside. A pair of eyes watching you. Waiting. Not demanding. Not expecting. Just waiting. And in that moment, you will have a choice. To keep walking. Or to stop. To turn away. Or to reach out. It will seem like a small decision. Insignificant, even. But for that life, it could mean everything. Because sometimes, all it takes is one moment. One act of kindness. One person who chooses to care. To turn a story of suffering into a story of hope. And maybe, just maybe, that person could be you.